You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys today. Hope you guys are doing well. Well, we are excited about having another returning guest on the show to give us a little season update here. We got none other than Zach Wilde joining us. So, Zach, good morning, brother. How you doing today?
Good morning, Brian. I'm doing awesome.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, we're actually grabbing you right now in between getting some truck work done. So you got a quick little half-hour wait. And I said, hey, let's podcast now. We're going to try to bang this out later this afternoon. I've got a rain day, so I'm trying to be productive, get some content pulled ahead of schedule, if you will. So, dude, what is new with you, man? It's been, maybe 6 months since we last had you on the show, maybe even longer.
Yes.
What hasn't changed?
It's been a little longer. But
yeah.
Things have been crazy.
So take it back, man. When was the last time we had you guys on the show?
I want to say it was over a year ago for sure, because it was before Together in the Trades last year.
Okay. Good looking out. So man, you and I DM literally almost every other day, and it's so not everybody listening in has the privilege of like seeing the growth and all the success that you guys have been having lately, and the ups and downs, right? It's been a wild time for you. But well, let's do this really quick. For those that maybe haven't heard your other shows that you've been on and episodes from us and maybe other podcasts, you know that we call it the highlight reel. Maybe give these guys a minute or two update about who you are, where you're from, and what business looks like for you right now.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Zach Wilde. I own Wilde Lawn Service. It's just me and one other guy, so I'm a solo kind of guy. We do run a full-time lawn maintenance operation, mainly mowing, but a lot of lawn enhancements and just upgrades, small concrete edging borders to planting plants, shrubs, trees, a lot of mowing. We take on 55 weekly customers that we have right now. And yeah, that's about where we're at. We're just south of St. Louis, Missouri, so we're in the Midwest region.
Okay, there you go. Are you by like Alex Nickens area, or where? I know he's in.
Yeah, he's in Illinois, so I'm on the opposite side of the Mississippi from him. But he's maybe 45 minutes to an hour away from me.
Oh wow, okay, no kid. Well, I'm going to be cutting through there in a couple of weeks, man. So maybe I'll have to tag up and say hey really quick, you know. But
that'd be sweet.
got to see the home turf, you know. But
heck yeah.
Well, dude, we were DMing back and forth, and if I could pull up your IG DM really quick, it was he shot me this paragraph like, "Hey, do you want to catch up? All this is going on," and I'm reading this, and I'm like, "Dude, it has been a minute since you've been on the show last." And you guys are growing like crazy. You've jumped into snow plowing, snow removal. So let's do this.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that, man, and that's all you, man. It's we can what do they say, like lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Can't make it drink, yeah. Yeah,
well, and I think the almonds little throwback on the mulch episode. If it doesn't drink, shoot it, right? That's a that's a whole nother one. If you guys listen to Caleb and Brandy's mulch episode, they're a hoot. We're talking Kid Contractor podcast, but well, let's do this, Zach. I want to hear from today's show sponsors and announcements, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about your first season doing snow plowing and snow removal, and then also all the growth that you guys have going on, getting things legitimized, growing like crazy, really putting your route list and getting some ideal customers. So let's do this really quick. We're going to hear from today's show sponsors and announcements, and then we're going to come right on back and hear a little bit more from Zach Wilde with Wilde's Lawn Service. Hang tight.
You know the name Equipment Defender. Now experience the safety and security for your lawn care setup with Equipment Defender trailer racks. These lockable trailer racks are designed to keep your equipment organized and secure without breaking the bank. Upgrade your setup and protect your investment with trailer racks that fit any style of trailer, both utility or enclosed. These E-coated racks are built tough to withstand the elements, all while working hard to keep your equipment safe and secure. Put an end to unnecessary equipment damage and theft today by investing in quality trailer racks that you can rely on. Use the promo code BRIANS10 to save 10% on all orders today at equipmentdefender.com, and a link is provided in the show description. Equipment Defender.
All right, Zach. Well, we're going to jump right back into it. We're going back to you. So tell me a little bit more about this epic winter that you guys had, because you guys got some good snowplow runs, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this was your first year doing snow plowing and commercial snow plowing.
Yep. So if anyone listening doesn't know me, don't follow me on Instagram, definitely go over there and give me a follow. If you can, please and thank you. But
yeah,
Brian gifted me a snow plow at the Entrepreneur Academy Live event 2021. And since then, I've added snow plowing and snow removal to my business. Before, we just did like residential driveways, clearing driveways with a snow blower and shovels. The plow completely changed the game for us. It got our foot in the door to a couple commercial customers. We got our truck seen by a couple different people that are, bigger clients, stuff like that. So it's definitely taken off and grown my business dramatically just from that.
Now, when you guys were doing residential snow, how many clients were you guys servicing at the time?
About 20.
Okay, that's fair. That's cool.
It was hit and miss. Every storm was different, but about 20.
That's awesome. And how long have you guys been in business just in total for Wilde Lawn Service?
So I started in 2018 as a part-time guy. And then 2020 was my first year full-time. In that year, we did, I think, $44,000 my first year. We grew 85% to $77,000 in my second year. And last year, I don't know the percentage, but we jumped up to about $130,000 in revenue in our third year. So we're definitely steadily growing.
That's awesome. That's seriously, I love hearing you guys' stories and updates. I remember talking to Dylan Solo Cuts. We had him on the podcast probably about 4 months ago after our live event, LAL, that we do every November. And similarly, he went from like 20s to 40 to like 80 to like $130. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does over 200 this year. Him and two or three guys, which is
nice.
It's crazy just seeing all the growth that so many of you guys have. And I know somebody's like, well, I went from 0 to 350,000 my first year. That's awesome. Good for you. Good for you too. For the rest of us, I always say incremental growth is better than fast growth. Like I like seeing people grow 10, 20% year over year versus somebody that goes 0 to $500,000 and then burns himself out and the company implodes.
Yep.
So we've had other people on that have done that, and we've heard their pain points and lessons learned as well, because sometimes things retract, and that happens. So let me ask you this, Zach. The plow was actually a really funny, unique story, and I want to get your perspective on commercial snow plowing, because when you came to LAL, basically I had this plow that I won, and people are like, oh, like, so long story short, there was this raffle that Troy Clogg was doing for his hot pink de-icer. And a lot of you guys know Troy Clogg. He's like seriously an OG, kind of a pillar in the industry. Troy Landscaping and Snowplow Associates up here in Milford / Wixom, Michigan. Well, he has this product called Hot Pink De-icer. It's an ice melt. He did this raffle for a what is it, Zach? A Western MVP3, right?
Yep.
Western MVP3 stainless. So this thing's like $9-10 It's like the Mac Daddy plow for Western. And so Troy is like, hey, we're doing this charity thing. Douglas Dynamics gives him the plow. He raffles the plow. You can buy a ticket for $100. And he's like, can you help me promote this a little bit? I'm like, yeah, dude, for sure. It's going to a great cause. It's for like breast cancer and whatnot, research, and they give to local charities in need. So anyway, fast forward.
Yeah.
Troy's like, can you do this? I'm like, yeah, I gotcha. We'll do a quick YouTube video. So while we're doing the video, I already had a check preemptively wrote out. Troy didn't know about this, so I just give him $300. I'm like, hey, Troy, give us 3 tickets. We'll support the charity and what you got going on. And I didn't think anything of it. I didn't plan to win anything. I was just like, dude, hang out, have fun. Like, I want to support my friend. And so, funny story. About a month later, he shoots me a text message, actually a voicemail, like at 11:30 at night. And he goes, hey, Brian, it's Troy. And he sounds just dragged, ragged, tired. And this is a kind of a funny story, but and this is not like Troy Clogg. Like, he's, Mr. Motivation, and he's a leader, and he's got a $20 million company. So he calls me at 11:30 at night. Hey, Brian, it's Troy. I wanted you to hear it from my voice first. And he's just like, ow. And I'm like, this does not sound like the Troy I know. He sounded dragged tired. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, hey, you won the plow, buddy. Couldn't go to a better person. It almost sounded like he was drunk dialing me, to be honest with you. So So I call him back. It's 11:30 at night. Goes to voicemail. He catches up with me the following week, like Monday or Tuesday. And Zach, this is actually a funny story. It's a wild story, wildy story. This is awful, but sorry about that. So I got my dad jokes.
Working on your dad jokes. I understand. You got to polish them up a little.
Well, dude. So you're part of this story. Like to see the whole lineage of how this thing worked out. So he was actually at this huge golf outing that he hosted for the charity giveaway, and like the giveaway's at, I don't know, like 4:30 p.m. Well, he catches up with me and he tells me this crazy story at like 2:00. He's like hosting and just hanging out, and I don't know if he like slipped or fell, but a bottle crashed and like severed off his thumb basically. He's gushing blood trying to host 100, 200 people at this golf outing. He's going to urgent care in the hospital to like get it sewed back on and stitched up and all this mess. So he's not even there. So people are like, well, Troy Clark just picked you because you guys are friends and he's just trying to get more promotion out of it. Right. Okay. Like never underestimate the imagination of a hater. I'll tell you that. Because the stories that people tell are just wild. They're literally like the most exciting things I've ever heard. I'm like, I wish the stories that people told about us were half true because they sound like good experiences and fun stories. So anyway, so Troy's not even at his own thing, and I think his granddaughter, who I thought was like 4, I think she's like 20, pulls out of the hat or the jar Brian's all maintenance, and so she tells Troy, and Troy goes, "You got to be blank and kidding me," because like the irony is so funny there.
And that's when he called you at 11 o'clock to tell you?
So he had just got out of the hospital like an hour or two before and wrapped up his event, So, yeah, homie's in like a thumb cast, with stitches. And he like literally had like a beer bottle like just shatter all over his hand. And dude, so he's like, he might even be on like painkillers or drugs. I don't even know. But it was the most uncanny phone call I've ever gotten from somebody at 11:30. Like, it wasn't like, "Hey Brian, it's Troy. How you doing, winner?" Like that kind of stuff. So anyway, long story short, and this has anything to do with me. It's just when we won the plow, my local dealer, as you guys know, is Weingarts. A lot of you guys know is Weingarts. They sell Boss, and so there's the local Western dealer. There's a place that can install them about 10 minutes down the road, but the only real dealer is about 45 minutes away. And I have another truck on order. I didn't get any updates on it. It's going to be 4 to 6 months. So I'm like, well, this Western's cool, but it's going to sit around and I don't want it to rust out. So you had posted something, long story short, on IG saying like, "Hey, my family's been affected by the breast cancer. Anything we make with it, we're gonna give a percentage of our revenue back." And I saw your post. I didn't pre-message you or anything like this, but any which way, you came to LAL. And I'm like, man, this Western thing, this plow, and it sounds like a first world problem because it is, but it's just hanging over me. Like I've had it, this thing I won for about 2 or 3 weeks now. I have arguably no use for it. Yes, I could go fire sale it for $5-7 grand, but that's not going to really change a lot. So I'm like, well, I'm sure this thing is worth its weight in salt. I need to get it to somebody who can actually make some money with it. And I saw your post on the hot pink deicer, and I said, let's gift this thing to Zach. So anyway, like you said, at LAL, maybe this is a reason to come to LAL. You'll never know what you're going to get. But I brought you on stage for a quick minute. Did you know that I was giving you the plow, or did you think like you were in trouble?
I was a little concerned.
I'm like, Zach Wilde, if you're in the audience, please come to center stage, and you're like, what
it didn't help. I was already sitting right in front of you, so people probably thought this was staged as well.
oh yeah, that's exactly it, man. I got picked to get this to exactly give it to you, right? Like that's how. It's just, I if it worked that way, that'd be awesome. But I don't have those ends. You know what I'm saying, guys? So. But at the end of the day, when we opened up LAL, if you guys were there, that's our live event that we host every November. It's a lawn care conference. It's crazy. It was
complete banger,
dude.
Well worth the ticket. Well worth the drive.
Thanks, man.
Well worth the time spent there. Everything. It was amazing.
Thanks, man. Everybody who comes gives it great praise. We had Weston Zimmerman from Synced Up in the audience. We did a podcast with him recently. He said, dude, way more than he ever expected at a lawn care conference. And we we're trying to bring the heat. So, yeah, long story short, we opened up the event. We gave $5,000 to a local family, couple friend of ours that has 3 kids in private Christian education. We gave 5 G's right off the top to them. I'm telling you what, that school called me like the next day. They're like, yo, where's our money? So that was actually funny. We gave them this whole big, faux check, like the big, 3 foot wide, 4 foot long check, whatever it is, and or tall, big ass check to them. And that was really fun. And then I got Zach up and I was like, said some niceties. I don't even remember what I was saying, because I was actually kind of getting choked up, bro. And so I was like, Zach, this is your plow. And you were like, well, describe your experience with it, because you had no idea that this was going to happen.
Oh, no. And I'm not a public speaker or one to be talking in front of anybody at all, and to be standing in front of a room full of 400 people that are staring at you wondering what's going on is kind of crazy. So
right.
It was definitely, like you said, heartfelt moment, emotional moment for sure. I got to call my mom right afterwards, cry to tell her that you were, nice enough to give it to me, and that I won it, and what I won it for, and all that. So
that's awesome.
Was super sentimental to us.
That's awesome, man. Well, tell me what happened after that, because I literally text you my contact at Douglas Dynamics, and I said, dude, I said this with love. I said, this is your problem now. I need to stop thinking about it. I have so much other stuff on my mind. Because we were getting ready to build our house before we postponed it for 6 or 8 months.
Yep.
So what did the process look like? And then, let me know after that, commercial snow plowing. What was it like? Because you were already locking down commercial contracts, trying to figure this out, actually. So tell me about how that all worked out.
I actually had about 6 different places call me, and I had to turn down quite a bit of work, which was a bittersweet kind of moment. But it was like, it was good to know that it was coming in, and then I kind of figured more would come in, but it was kind of sad having to tell them no. It was bigger accounts like our Steak and Shake here in town, the CVS pharmacy, a couple bigger pharmacies here in town. I actually got a call from Walmart from our town and the next town over, wanting us to do their whole entire lot. So
wow.
We did pass up a lot of money and a lot of opportunity. I give all that opportunity to my SEO and get my name out on Google. That has tremendously helped us and catapulted us forward, especially getting all these commercial calls.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
we ended up getting the plow. So I went with, like you said, the 9.5 foot B blade, stainless steel, Western MVP3. It's a little bit big for my truck. It was a little heavy. And I didn't know, what I didn't know. So I just got what I got, and we stuck it on there. Cost Cutters from here in Peevely, Missouri. I want to shout out them guys. They definitely did a lot to help me out. They took on, getting the installation of the plow done. They got it done in a super fast amount of time, literally right before our first snowstorm.
Wow.
I picked it up with snow falling.
Wow.
Luckily we didn't really get enough to plow, but got some salt down, got some money made. And all in all, with only having it for 2 months, and again, we're in the Midwest, we don't get a lot of snow here. We did get one pretty significant snowstorm. But we made around $3,500 in the, I think, 2.5 storms that we kind of did. And that was like very minimum. I didn't want to overdo it.
Sure.
Just to have the experience, and I didn't want to overdo my route and kind of make my commercial customers mad, because I wanted to get to them first, but also didn't want to make the residential customers mad, because again, I wanted to get to them first, because I've had them and they've been around and they're repeat customers. They're lawn customers of mine. Some of them do mulch, things like that. So I really don't want to make them mad. But then again, we really, really did a good job and took care of those commercial customers. And like I was saying, I secured the work from them. And they actually called me back to have me cut the grass, which I thought was awesome. So again, we used your resources. We went over to entrepreneuracademy.com and got the commercial lawn maintenance contract.
Okay.
I sent those out to 2 of the customers, immediately got responses back. They signed them. I just use Word on my computer, and it sends you to like Adobe or something like that.
Yep.
And you could fill and sign the document. So once you upload it on Word and change all the information that you have made possible for us to have for super cheap, which is crazy. But you just change everything, customize it to your business, click the sign and fill option or fill and sign option. It'll change the format to a PDF, and then you just send it over to the email of whoever you're trying to get to. And like you said in a previous podcast, definitely try to get to the person that's in charge first. it sucks having to go to 3 different people or waiting for your email to get signed, or,
Oh yeah.
hey, I have to send it over to the next guy. And so that was kind of hectic and a learning curve, but listening to your content helped, and it really did work. Almost all the ones that I've done, the past 3 that I've done, I just told the people that called me straight up, like, hey, I don't really have time. We're pretty busy going into our spring rush. If you can get me the phone number or email of the person in charge, I'd really love to just get it directly to them. That way I don't have to wait around and they don't have to, go through you.
Yeah.
And they were okay with it. They gave me the phone numbers, gave me the emails, and we sent them right through. So right now, we haven't even started cutting grass. It is the 24th of March, and I think I have $25,000 right now in secured, signed commercial contracts, and that doesn't include any of my residential customers at all.
Man, that's awesome. That it just fires me up. Like I don't know. I'm excited about hearing you guys' growth and success. And it is wow. Like, quick tip to get in commercial, like Zach was just saying, like, ask for the decision maker, or it's not always who you think. Sometimes it's the lady who's the office manager. Sometimes if it's a larger company, a tire chain or a retail chain, it might be a facilities manager, they'll call it. It could be the general manager. It could be the CFO, who wants to manage all the numbers because they're trying to keep their company profitable. One company I deal with is the CFO, and this is a satellite site that we take care of. Awesome, so. Find the decision maker, and how you ask for that is there somebody that you want me to directly, get this to that would be responsible for making the decision on this? Or if you happen to cold call somebody and you get the front desk because you're like, hey, there's an unsightly parking lot from snow or from lawn, say, hey, just wanted to reach out. I'm a local landscaper. I noticed that the lawn wasn't cut or the snow has been piling up there. Could you maybe point me in the right direction, or could you help point me in the right direction? Because everybody wants to help somebody. So and say, I'm not sure who handles that there at the company, but I'm not here to sell you guys on anything. I just wanted to reach out, maybe offer our services. Could you help point me in the right direction? And 9 out of 10 receptionists will say, absolutely, honey, that's John Smith. I'll patch you through to his extension right now. And if you can, say, what extension is that, just in case I lose you? And she'll say, oh, that's extension 5652. That way you have that extension. You don't have to keep calling her back up and punching 0 for the operator to then get to the extension.
It's funny. That's how you describe it, because that's almost identically how it happened, other than it was emails versus phone numbers. But
there you go.
One lady, I went into the office, and it was next door to one of the commercial snow contracts that we did, or lots that we did. And exactly what you said and described. It was an unsightly kind of lot. You could tell that their mulch wasn't refreshed in a couple of years. The bushes need trimmed, and the grass, you could tell it was only a small patch of grass. So maybe like the owner or some random guys push mowing it, or who knows. And you could just tell it wasn't properly cared for. And I'm doing the site right next door, which we're going to definitely revamp and get looking good. So I didn't want theirs kind of be behind. So I took it as an opportunity. It's kind of an upsell to right there in route density. I'm thinking at the same time, like, I need to make sure I get this one across the street if I can. So I went in there, asked the lady. She gave me her email first, and then I got to thinking about the podcast that I literally just listened to from you. And I was like, well, if I can I get, who's this email going to go to, or, who's the decision maker? And she's like, oh, well, it's a eye doctor place. And she said, oh, well, it'll actually be the doctor. He owns this practice and another one in another town.
Sure.
And he makes the decision. And she goes, well, here's his email address. Went ahead and gave me his email address, and then within 24 hours, emailed me right back. We got the job.
Isn't that awesome? That's awesome, man. And by the way, appreciate you plugging the commercial contract. Some of you guys that joined the show.
Plug for sure. It works. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, well, and I appreciate it, because some of you guys that are like friends, or you guys are, you drink the Kool-Aid with me, you guys are always trying to help me out with throwing me a bone, and it is appreciated. But we're not. If you guys are new to the show, we're not trying to sell you guys on getting a contract for $50. I couldn't care less. If there's free resources out there, go Google commercial lawn care contract. You'll come up with some pretty decent ones. To be honest with you, most of the ones I've seen are they're kind of junk. And so. And I'm not throwing anybody under the bus or saying ours is better, nothing like that. I'm just saying ours works. Like, I've done, I don't even know how much, millions of dollars of commercial work by now. And so have you guys. And I get guys all the time. I talk about this on the podcast all the time. You download the resource, personalize it. It's a great template to start. You can customize it, of course. But there's guys that download it. They're like, hey, dude, a local apartment complex called me. Can you help me bid this? I don't even know where to start. And I say, well, do you have a commercial contract? And they say, no, what is that? They go to Entrepreneur Academy. They download it for $49. You can use the contract literally forever, right? And they say, oh, cool. And then, they've put their bid together and they submit it. And I don't have a closing rate or ratio for you. That's not something I can guarantee. However, I can guarantee that you'll have a professional pitch and a professional proposal that you can submit. And I've got guys all the time messaging me back saying they got it just because their contract and quote was the easiest to read, and it's the most straightforward, simple contract to use. And so, any which way, I just want to let you guys know there's people that download it and then they go secure a $50,000 or $15,000 apartment complex, industrial business, auto dealer, and it's a $49 template. You can use it forever, renew forever. I don't know, if you get a commercial auto dealership or an auto dealership and it's a $12,000 a year account and you get it for 5 years, it's $60,000, not counting snow. And then you divide that into the contract for $49. I think it costs you a penny to get that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Could you imagine the actual amount of money that you have made people just off that contract alone?
I would love. I wouldn't know how to quantify it or how to even find that out. Right. But when we always say the Brian's 10 code, I think I said at LAL 2021, best I could tell, saved $325,000, almost $350,000 for people. Which is ridiculous.
And that's a 10% off code of products that only cost, a little bit of money. So you got to think of these thousands and thousands. I mean, you're guaranteed you've sold tens of millions of dollars worth of work on contracts. That's
what I'm imagining. I would imagine a couple million at least. And I it does nothing for me. If you guys want to send me 1%, holler at your boy. So I'll give the contract away for free, but we'll work on a revenue sharing split. How about that? So for any of you guys that can't afford the $49, wow, I'll just holler at your boy and we'll just do a 1% revenue share. So you guys crack me up out there. Everybody's trying to hustle and pedal, man. It's just what it all is. But you know what? They work though. The commercial snow contracts work. The residential contracts work. And by the way, back in the day, I was writing emails out to people, and no wonder I had no commercial work until 4 years ago.
Not that, but a text message or calling them and telling them, okay, the lawn's going to be $55 a week. They're like, okay, do it. And then you have no paper trail, no nothing.
Oh,
and then not to plug it even more, or not to talk it up even more, but or not to just say that we're just doing this for you, but going again to where, or saying again how all of your contact, or I can't even talk. Hopefully you can.
You're good.
All of your content is timely, and we're getting it in the right formats, and we're hearing this stuff at the right time. And your podcast that came out today, you were talking about upselling and things like that.
Yeah.
On those commercial contracts, there's different line items of things that you might not necessarily, you might not. I am so tongue tied. I can't.
You're good. It's unfiltered. If Zach can do it, you can do it too.
Oh, goodness gracious. So what I was trying to say is you might not think to offer these things to the customers, like annual and perennial flower installations, like tulips and bulbs in the springtime, and more like mums and stuff like that in the fall time.
Yeah.
I just submitted one estimate. I haven't got it back yet, but I want to say that it was another $1,200 that I upselled the customer, and that's not including the ones that I have got back that I put flowers on.
Wow.
So it definitely has worked, but the one I just sent out, I think it was a $1,200 upsell, and the guy blatantly told me, we're not getting any more, bids from anybody. Your bid is the only one we're getting. If it looks good, we're going to go with it. So wow. I thought to myself, well, I better add whatever I can on here. So,
yeah.
And I put next to it optional. So if they want to say no, they can. But on the two that I've already put them on, one for a subdivision HOA where I cut their common grounds and I do the mulch at their entranceways. They didn't have any kind of flowers, so I upsold them on wax begonias in the spring and then mums in the fall, and that was an extra $800. And then I don't remember exactly offhand what the total was for the other one, but it was a sale of mums, and it was a couple $100. So it's like all that money is left out on the table when you're not using these contracts and trying to see what else is out there for your business to do.
Yeah, that's a good story, because we have some similar things that happen too, where we always quote the mulch for a fresh 2-inch layer, and but I always tell people it's optional, you don't have to get it, but almost everybody that we do for our commercial sites wants it spruced up. If you have any ability to sell, you should be able to upsell a fresh layer of mulch, and everybody, not everybody, but half of the people you talk to are going to go, well, we just want to, can you just like spray paint it or just turn it? And you're just like, dude, that's not a thing. That's not.
Or they'll contact you when the time comes, but then it ends up being way past the time that you're even doing it. So it's not convenient for you or your business.
Right.
Whereas if you just put it on the sheet and they say yeah to it at that time, you can go, okay, well, we're coming to do your mulch on the very first week of April or the last week of April, every year, or, hey, all of our customers are getting done in the last week of April, first week of May. We'll be there then to mulch. Does that work for you? They say, yeah, great.
Yep.
Invoice done.
Well, the podcast episode you were referencing, we did one called Ethical Upselling, and it's a good one. I told some funny stories there actually about I take my dog to a pet boarding place, whatever you call it, and also talked about how there's an old classic out there that made its way through the self-help realm called Go for No. It's a quick little read. It's actually pretty good. There's 4 or 5 good takeaways, but I just talked about one, which was about our experience a guy had upselling when he was working at a garment store, like a Nordstrom's, in today's world. But you know what? Like you got to include that stuff in there, man. And the contracts they're helpful. I mean, it's, if anything, I always say it's like bumper bowling. Do you need them? No, it's just the guide rails. If you feel like you can make your own contracts and you want to take them to the next level, then of course. But at least you have a template. At least you have the start. At least you're going to hit some pins when you have a good template to work from, right? So Zach, appreciate the plug there. Checks in the mail. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know what, guys?
Already, I greatly appreciate you and literally everything that you put out. It's great. And I know I was excited about your snow work too, because you know what, $3,000 I think you said, or $3,500, like that's you're already paying for the truck, or maybe the truck's paid for, but you already have a truck payment, you already have the insurance, you already have the overhead, like so now. My truck has literally just been sitting there for the entire month. So from about Christmas time on, so the last week of December and pretty much all 4 weeks of January, and usually about 2 weeks of February, we just hit a lull. We don't do much work at all. Some people are out there booked up, but me, I don't really care to get out and work in the wet, cold environment.
Right.
It just makes us sick. It breaks us down, and it's just not good. So we take hiatus. We take some time off. And getting that snowplow definitely made me want to get out there and work. So that's it might not sound like a lot. It might sound like a one-time snow run or a salt run for some people. But to me, that was not only, like I said, 10% of that is going to the local charity, or not the charity, but the local cancer center here in town. I'm going to buy blankets and caps for the ladies that have to shave their heads and stuff like that during their chemotherapies and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to donate that to them. But that's $3,500 that I literally would not have made and left on the table. And I would have had to pay my truck payment out of, savings or out of the business money,
right,
and stuff like that. Whereas that money, it gave my guy a whole nother week of work. He's, it gives me faith that he'll be able to pay his rent, put food on the table, and he's going to come back when springtime comes around.
That's awesome.
So I'm hoping next year we can secure a lot more commercial work and kind of get that all rolling too. And especially with commercial work comes salting. So we can really stay busy, because we do get a lot of ice and like sleet, rain and stuff like that. So when we can get a salter and the salt going, then that's really when we're going to start making a lot of money with the commercial snow.
I'm excited for you, man. Like you said, you guys just broke the 4-minute mile with what you can do for your company now, and now you can take that 3,500 to 35,000 and beyond if you want. And so I'm excited for you, man. It's we talk about on the podcast who wins when you succeed, and you know what? Troy's got a great relationship with Douglas. He was gifted something because they wanted to believe and support Troy. And then I bought some tickets. Didn't even plan to win. Didn't even care to win. Didn't even expect to win. I literally The reason I do so many giveaways is because I never win anything, bro. I never get anything anytime ever. I swear to God. So I'm like, you know what? If that's just like how life is, and that's just how nature is for this guy, because I literally never. I don't even know if I like win scratch and wins. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So if that's the case, I'm gonna give stuff away, and then ironically enough, I finally win something. I'm like, this is freaking wild. I don't know. I must have been hanging around with Chris Horning or something like that, because that dude wins. Like if he doesn't go to something and win, like I'm concerned that like the weather's off that the next week, or there's going to be a hurricane. Okay. Like Chris Horning is like the most winning lawn care bro. I know. He's about 40 minutes down the road from me. He's a great guy in Ann Arbor area. So I must have been like rubbing shoulders with him the week of or something. I don't know. Maybe at LAL or before that. But so any which way, it's just cool to see how that plow like came to Troy, to me, to you, and now you're taking care of people who have, you know, debilitating, you know, diseases that I'm sure are super going to appreciate the kind gesture that you're helping them out with. And dude, it was out of a couple $100 abundance of us. We actually gave that money right out of the Entrepreneur Academy. So when you guys buy these contracts or these resources or training programs, and maybe this is all new to you, if you've never even heard that stuff before, like resources that you can buy online, it's wild what you can do with scaling on the internet, where instead of making a contract of your own for $1,000 with your lawyer, you can get a template. Yes, go run it by him, but now you don't have to pay $75 or $150 for an hour to have him personalize it for your state and local laws or whatever, versus, you know, putting him on a retainer for $1,500 and making you something. And so it is a reciprocity thing. Like, we sincerely appreciate the support, I guess is the best way to say it, because I'm not trying to sell you guys on any of these resources. That was definitely not the intent of this podcast. But because of your guys' abundance of supporting that website, we were able to, you know, gift $300 to Troy, buy a couple tickets, and then we win this plow, give it to Zach, and now look at the difference he's making over there in Missouri, right? Zach, is that what you said?
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's so cool. And, you know, I don't know. It just gets me all fired up. Maybe you guys want some more meat on the podcast. I don't know what else to tell you. That's good stuff. I mean, we're all making a difference out there. And Zach, we appreciate the life update, the business update. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we got to shut it down though, because I'm 6 minutes over what I said I'd grab you for, and I know you got to get to the.
Oh, you're good.
Well, I don't want to hold you back though. You got a lot going on with your day too, and we're all trying to be productive on rain days. So, Zach, really quick, where can people find you one more time, and then we'll button this thing up, brother?
Yeah, definitely. So we're on Facebook and Instagram. We have a TikTok, but I don't really use it too much anymore. But I'd love for anybody that can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Wildy Lawn Service. I try to post as much as I can, informational content. If you guys got any questions, anything you want to know, anything you might not be able to ask Brian, definitely ask me. I'll try to get you an answer. So
heck yeah. And if you got questions on Western plows, this is going to be your guy, because he's coming in fresh with.
That thing is spectacular.
Yeah?
I tell you, I just moved it into my garage, and the Ultra Mount 2, I think that's what that mount's called, that's on it. I mean, a toddler could literally unmount that snowplow, but the way that it holds on is so solid that it doesn't feel loose or anything like that, and it's on there really well. But just to be able to snap those little legs down and press the pin down without having to, you can almost do it with one hand.
Wow.
And seriously, it's phenomenal.
Well, record a video and then send it to boss, would you? Because I like my boss products, but I just had my 13-pin brake. I had to get that fixed, and hooking up the boss plows are awful. That's a whole nother rant for a whole nother time. But if you guys own a boss, you're probably nodding your head going, "Yep, that's right." So
I'm going to send you a video. I'm going to have you wishing that you would have kept this one and then just gave me your boss, probably.
Like I said, man, if I had my truck in, I probably would have said yes. But the guy at Douglas, he was like, "Well, we can get you a plow next year," and I'm like, "Nah." I'm like, I don't know what you guys would say, but I was like, "Yeah, I've heard that before," So I'm like, if you're making sales, you get it now. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, you know what? We're gonna take that off your hands now. Love you, appreciate you. Not that I don't trust you, but we're gonna get that now, and we're gonna send it out to somebody that I know and care about. So. Well, Zach, that's what we got, man. Appreciate you for real. We'll get you on the show, I'm sure, a couple months from now, get another update. Always good hearing from friends of the show, and wish you guys seriously a great spring rush as we're all about to run out the door here. And give them a follow, guys. It's Wilde, WILDE Lawn Service on IG and Facebook. So, Zach, that's what I got, man. Thanks again for being on the show. We'll catch up with you here soon, all right?
Sweet. Thanks, Brian. You have a good one.
All right, bud. Well, hey, guys, thanks again for listening to this episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Hope you guys enjoy the show. A little bit of a plug here for Launchpreneur Academy. But if you guys do want to check out those resources, launchpreneuracademy.com, and then go under the store tab, you'll see under documents and resources section, a lot of the residential contracts, commercial contracts, snowplow contracts, etc. And then also, a little while I'm recording this real time, I got my phone open. I always try to take notes and try to be a good listener. But I had an email come down from Spotify with our new reviews that came in over the last couple of weeks, I think it is. So anyway, shout out to all of you guys that have been leaving those 5-star ratings and reviews. Don't get soft on me. Don't get sleepy. Don't get lazy. Do me a big favor, would you guys? Can you just jot down on your phone a 5-star? Leave us a couple sentences. Let us know how we're doing. I get those reviews. I read them. Mr. Producer reads them. And we want to do a great job for you guys. We really do. From the audio quality to the content, everything that we do for you guys, we want to add value and just bring value to you guys. We're out there mowing, doing landscaping, and just slaying it, just like we are. So anyway, if you guys can leave us a 5-star rating review, either on iTunes, on your Apple iTunes, or on Spotify, we really greatly appreciate that. All right? That's what I got for you guys on today's show. Thanks for listening in. And we're going to kick it back over to Marty, Mr. Producer, down in the beautiful ATL, and we will catch up with you guys here on the next one.
You know the name Equipment Defender. Now experience the safety and security for your lawn care setup with Equipment Defender trailer racks. These lockable trailer racks are designed to keep your equipment organized and secure without breaking the bank. Upgrade your setup and protect your investment with trailer racks that fit any style of trailer, both utility or enclosed. These E-coated racks are built tough to withstand the elements, all while working hard to keep your equipment safe and secure. Put an end to unnecessary equipment damage and theft today by investing in quality trailer racks that you can rely on. Use the promo code BRIANS10 to save 10% on all orders today at equipmentdefender.com. And a link is provided in the show description. Equipment Defender.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.